Hello, and this is the second video in my guitar series. And this time we're going to be tackling on a very interesting topic that not many know about, but I think we all heard of Harley Benton guitars. Just look at this beauty. Even has the Floyd Rose. Sadly, I can't play this guitar right now. It has to be fixed, so I'll fix it later. And maybe show it in another video. Who knows? So, Harley Benton. Harley Benton acts as an example of how a brand got ruined because their image was ruined at the start. By no means does Harley Benton make bad guitars. It makes amazing guitars at a very affordable, cheap price. The only problem is that it had rough beginnings. So Harley Benton in its beginnings kind of had the worst reputation as being, one, unreliable, secondly, being very prone to corrosion and using bad material, and thirdly, for resale value. Nobody wants to buy a Harley Benton because what's worse than a Harley Benton is a used Harley Benton, so nobody would want to try that even. So how did Harley Benton try to recover from that? Well, the amazing changes were actually very interesting. Harley Benton started as a small company in the United States and it didn't have much impact, but in later years where a lot of people are getting influenced by Kurt Cobain's playing or New Polyphia playing, a lot of people started okay, maybe this guitar thing is fun, let's try it out. So there was a huge influx of guitar players in the 2000s, and Harley Benton tried to ride on that wave by making their guitars dirt cheap. I'm talking $50 guitars, $100 guitars. The only downside is because it's cheap, it meant it was made in China, its cost is cheap, material is cheap, everything is cheap. So not to blame them, you bought a guitar for $50, I mean, what did you expect? But that ruined its reputation. Because just like Ibanez, Harley Benton guitars are not all bad. They have good series. For example, they have a knockoff series. I know it sounds like a knockoff series, but they have a knockoff series of the PRS, of the Les Paul, and they kind of match they match or of not, they surpass these brands in making the guitars. A lot of those series, I tried one or two guitars in my whole life over Harley Benton, and I bought one recently. They just play well until something bad happens. And I think it's mainly due to the influx of new guitar players that don't know exactly how to take care of their guitars. So Harley Benton is a very sensitive guitar. If you leave it just for a year or two without touching it, you're gonna be wasting a guitar. It's like a guitar that needs to be taken care of. It's a baby. And a lot of people didn't know that when buying them, so they bought them, they played with them a little bit, they tried to resell them, they found that their guitar is in a very bad condition, and they couldn't resell it, so they were stuck with it. So they either sold it for dirt cheap, $10, $20. There was I think in Morocco there was an influx of Harley Benton acoustic guitars for $40. They all sold for $40, and they were all bad. I tried to buy one, but I didn't like it at all, so I was yeah, I'd rather not. So this brand kind of ruined its reputation by just trying to make sales. They tried to make as much profit, as much sales in as little time as possible, and they ruined their reputation to the ground. Now when you hear Harley Benton, even if you Google Harley Benton, the first video is gonna pop up is why you should not buy a Harley Benton guitar. For me, I don't really personally care because one of the problems is that two of the problems are relying on the guitarist and how well he takes care, reliability, and the products. And the third thing is resale value. I never buy a guitar from day one. I know if I'm gonna sell this guitar or not. So from day one, I either buy this guitar for myself until the day that I pass away, or I buy it and sell it without even playing it. I don't make that bond connection. So Harley Benton for me is still a very well known brand, and so I would actually buy it each day. Today we talked about brand image, how brand image is very important for the brand, and how having a profit focus can ruin the brand image and in turn ruin your sales in the long run. This was my second video about guitars. See you later.